Don't you worry, the clip's about to begin, but don't forget to subscribe. Or else, don't make me turn this website around.
Let's go with a theist for our next one.
Alrighty. Ask me the question, Bridge Keeper. I'm not afraid.
See if I can get this cue to work here. We have Joseph from Utah. Joseph, hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for taking my call tonight.
Yeah, thank you for calling.
This is a really, I just read the call screener, what they've typed down for your question. I would like for you to go ahead and state it in whatever way you're comfortable with, but I'm also, if it's a little ways away, I might read it because what's written down there is an incredibly interesting question, and I'm grateful you called in to talk about it.
Thank you. Yes, so my parents have 11 children, and we were raised LDS, and as Mormons, living in Utah now, it's just the way the entire community, the whole state, I mean, it's just like it is what we consider to be true, the Mormon restored gospel and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That is such a big part of everything that my siblings and I were raised with, but so many of my siblings have left the church and Utah, and it's like I feel like I can default to the beliefs of my parents, to the beliefs of my community, and all the people that I've respected growing up in the church, even though I admit that I don't have evidence for the truth claims of the church. But like the church and what it teaches, that is like the reality that I experience as someone who lives in Utah, as someone who is a member of the church. It probably doesn't matter to anybody else in the rest of the country what Mormons do or do not think and feel and believe in Utah, but it really does matter to me. And it's been my whole life, it's my whole identity. And that's just kind of, I don't know how even to pose it as a question.
Let me jump in.
Can you sympathize, please?
Yeah, let me jump in real quick because I want to point out what the call screener wrote in here, and that was there's a quick nod to Pascal's wager, but it says asking both co-hosts tonight if under certain circumstances it's appropriate to resort to theism even with a lack of evidence because of familial ties. And my answer is no, but yes, in the sense that it would never be justified to believe the claims of theism based on familial ties, but it may be in your best interest in some situations to act as if you believe in order to keep from having fights with a family or in order to keep from winding up ostracized. This is an issue of who should come out, in quotes, as an atheist. And that decision's always going to be up to you. And if you are terrified of the loss of relationships over this, and you are willing to pretend to be someone you're not and pretend to believe something you don't believe in order to keep those relationships from souring, that is entirely your prerogative. And you're probably going to take some flack for it, depending on to what degree you do that. But neither me nor Zod nor anybody else can tell you what's right for your life. And I know many people who aren't believers and yet will continue to act like they are because of fear of being ostracized or disrupting the family, or maybe they're conflict avoidance, or they've seen what's happened to other siblings and things like that. So if you want us to give you a blessing to stay in the closet, I hereby give you the blessing to stay in the closet, but I hope that we change the world around you that make it safe for everybody to be out. And I hope that you find a peace with yourself and your beliefs, because you deserve to be valued and loved for who you are and not for who people think you are. You shouldn't have to fake it. This is one of the reasons why we talk about coming out.
Thank you, Matt.
Sure, you're welcome.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess one issue I'd take that could require some clarification is the way I see it phrased. Is it appropriate to resort to it? And like Matt said, I think this is an issue of what works for you personally and where you're at in life. I don't think it's appropriate, meaning it's ideal. I don't think that pretending to believe in something or resorting to belief when you don't see evidence is at all a good thing to do. But if you're surrounded by a community that pressures you to do that, then you're just kind of making the best of two bad decisions. And so it's just a matter of what works for you. You're either going to suffer family consequences or either pretend to believe in something or kind of twist your own mindset to bring yourself to believe something, which I did for a long time and is extremely uncomfortable. And so you just have to find where you land. Is that answering your question? Based on how you phrased it in the call, I'm not sure if you're asking about coming out versus pretending to believe, or if there was something else in your question.
You guys did cover it. Thank you so much. And what I would add is that the whole year of 2020, as everyone knows, was very strange and different and surreal. And in that time, I discovered Mr. Atheist, his content, and so many other atheist content. I mean, I don't want to say like apologists, but I found a lot of really great personalities on YouTube through Mr. Atheist. But as someone, very dedicated to trying to maintain my beliefs and my identity, not for the sake of my parents, but because that's like what my religion, it's supposed to be, I guess, a struggle. So I have struggled with this deep resentment of the success of, atheists, like just so like meteoric success. And it's like, I don't have the right to resent that. I don't have the right to resent the success of atheists or secular humanists, skeptics. Like that information is very beneficial to people who, like you said, need to come out of the closet and, say how they really feel and not be made to feel bad for their lack of belief. And, it has been my struggle my entire life, whether or not my belief and at times lack thereof have put me at odds with my family and community. And I was just projecting it onto specifically Mr. Atheist, but many other atheists on YouTube. So I would like to apologize for that and thank you for your time.
Yeah.
And anyway, have a great night.
Thank you very much, Joseph. I appreciate it. And don't beat yourself up too much, because it's understandable to feel a certain way about someone with limited information. And you are one of the people who, upon thinking about it, reflecting a bit, getting some new information, is not only open to changing their mind, but apologizing, even though nobody would have known. So good for you.
Yeah, we all have a lot of, I'm sure we all have at some point had really complicated feelings as we come from faith toward non-belief. And it's a big shift in your mentality, and you're shifting how you view certain groups of people, and you're seeing a big thing being yanked out from under yourself, even if you don't believe, and even if you don't want to believe. There's a huge amount of loss there, and you can see people as contributing to that loss, or somehow I could see where that resentment comes from, even if, we don't always feel it's relevant or necessary or fair. I
don't even know how much of it is truly resentment as much it is something else which I mentioned today, which is coveting. The Bible is opposed to coveting. Don't covet your neighbor's ass or your neighbor's wife or your neighbor's wife's ass. I may have gotten that a little bit wrong, but I think at least 2/3 of that's in there. The problem is that, coveting is capitalism. Coveting, keeping up with the Joneses is what makes capitalism work. I want the new bigger screen TV because somebody else has it. I need the newest, latest phone, not because there was anything wrong with my old phone. Oh, I got a message just as I held that up. Not because there was anything wrong with it, but because that's what we do. And so if you're feeling repressed, if you're feeling silenced, if you are frustrated that you seem to be imprisoned in, like a religious mindset and surrounded by all this, and it's incredibly frustrating, that being desirous of somebody else's circumstance is completely understandable and a good thing. Don't hold it against an ex-Mormon or a foreman, as I like to call them. Don't hold it against a foreman that they are out and vocal. Use that as a goal to help inspire yourself to make your life what it can be so that you can be out and open as well. It's far more productive and healthy way to go about it rather than just, oh, I wish I could do that. Because I will tell you, some of this comes with baggage. I'm not going to complain. This is not a complaint. I love my life. I love getting to do the things that I love, which is to argue and discuss these topics in addition to doing debates and magic shows and things like that. And I live my life pretty open. Like, as I've mentioned before, when Dawkins and Harris and I were in London and other places doing shows, those guys would be backstage and Sam would have his security and everything else. And I would go out and walk the line just like anybody else, because I want those people who paid to come see us to be able to interact at a level that they may not get to just going to a theater. It's just kind of who I am. That puts me at greater risk, and it makes some people feel like they're entitled to my time. And some people will show up and be like, well, no, I came here and I asked you this question. Now you're going to answer me. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to block you for acting all entitled with my time. There's baggage with it, but it's never baggage that I'd complain about, because I get to hear like from multiple 12-year-old girls who are now atheists and secularists, and they're going into work in engineering, and they are empowered. I'll take that. I'll answer 1,000 more absolutely shitty phone calls just so the next young girl who finds that they can live a productive, happy, healthy life absent religion lets me know that I contributed in some way to them reaching that conclusion. That was like a left turn. I apologize for rambling on there, but
no, that's good. I think that's all important stuff to keep in mind. There's a lot of difficulty in the daily grind of, when you see people who are atheist content creators or speakers or whatever, it's easy to see the meteoric rise and think that that's what their life is like, when really it's a daily grind. It's hard to get started. Like I put in months and months and months with almost nobody watching my videos, but that at least someone is watching. And like you said, if you help anybody, when you get that occasional email saying, hey, you've given me a lot of clarity on how I handle this with my parents, or these few doubts or something like that, it really makes it worth it. And I would encourage anybody in whatever capacity, whether you're officially a content creator or just somebody who's interacting day to day on social media, your voice and what you're doing means a lot to at least some people.
I've never been concerned with, like, my channel isn't monetized. That is going to change, by the way. My personal YouTube channel is going to be monetized, and primarily because YouTube just changed their policies and procedures. And so someone who probably shouldn't care more about me than I do, but clearly does, reached out to me and was like, hey, I'll help you with this. I've been eligible for monetizing for ages. I just didn't want to. It wasn't showing that I was going to make all that much money. It was going to be a hassle, and I was putting up videos through the Patreon project, so I didn't want to feel like I was, somebody donated at Patreon and then they come over and they watch 15 minutes of commercials. I didn't want to do that, and it seemed like more hassle. But because YouTube's making a change, I'm going to be changing it, and my channel is going to be monetized, and we're going to work around some other stuff.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that. I think for me, monetization is more about the reach, which I understand it helps, but yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, well,
I'm
it
not
turns
much
out
for ads and all that.
for the people who know, they've been yelling at me saying, not only are you leaving money on the table, dumbass, but you will never get the reach that these monetized channels get, because YouTube is going to prioritize the monetized channels, because that's how they make money. So my channel, which doesn't put an ad on anything has no hope of ever being as big as Jimmy's channel, which puts ads on stuff. And so that's something I need to change. It'll all be changed before the new year starts.
Hey, thanks for checking out this clip for The Line. While you're here, hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and then share this with that bitter uncle of yours who loves talking about the good old days.